Hello, my name is Lewis and welcome to Gathering the Magic. Today we're looking at a $80 budget Elesh Norn deck tech. From the upcoming Phyrexia All Will Be One set, this 4/7 Praetor has Vigilance. It says if a permanent ET being causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And permanents ET being don't cause abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger. This deck is all about getting out Elesh Norn, throwing down those ETB loving cards, clearing away your opponent's board and getting that evil Phyrexian victory royale. Now, let's get right into the budget brew. As always, we're starting off the deck tech super hot with all of that ramp. First up is Arcane Signet to add a white, and Mindstone to add a colourless or have as a secondary option to sack for some card draw. We have Coveted Jewel to ETB drawing 3 cards, doubling that if Elish is out, also being able to tap for 3 mana of any colour. And Marble Diamond, the ETB's tapped but you can later tap it for a white mana. There's Ambitious Farmhand, that when ETBs you search your library for a basic plains, putting it into your hand. And Knight of the White Orchid, that when ETBs, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you can search your library for a basic land, putting it onto the field untapped. Again, any of these ETB loving rampers will trigger twice if Elesh Norn is on the field. We have Loyal Warhound, which is the same as Knight of the White Orchid, except those lands ETB tapped. And we have the boys over at Chad Magic's favourite sad robot, Solemn Simulacrum, the ETBs searching you out a basic land, putting it straight onto the field tapped, also drawing you a card when it dies. And finally, we have Soul Ring, because Soul Ring. Before we get onto those ETB living creatures, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe down below for all things MTG. Subscribing is completely free to do, and it helps our channel grow and grow as we head towards 5,000 subscribers. Another way to help support the channel is to use our referral code gathering-the-magic when signing up to Card Market. Shout out to Cartoon for using our code. You love to see it. Now we're looking at those creatures that double down on those ETB triggers. First up is White Staple Sun Titan, that when ETBs or attacks, you may return target permanent with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the field. And Karmic Guide, that when ETBs, return target creature card from your graveyard to the field. We have Charming Prince, that when ETBs you can scry to, gain 3 life or exile another target creature you own, returning it to the field at the beginning of the next end step. And Dawnbringer Cleric, that has those ETB options of gaining 2 life, destroying target enchantment or exile a target card from a graveyard. There's Reverent Hoplite, that when ETBs create a number of 1/1 human soldier tokens equal to your devotion to white. And Soul Warden, that says whenever another creature enters the field, you gain 1 life. We have Stonehorn Dignitary, that says when it ETBs, target opponent skips their next combat phase. And Court Street Denizen, that says whenever another white creature ETBs under your control, tap target creature an opponent controls. The more enter the battlefield cards we have going, the better. Gain twice the value from Evil Elish and put yourself in an even better advantage to get the win. We have Flying Emeria Angel, that says when a land ETBs under your control, you may create a 1/1 bird token with flying. And Emeria Shepherd, another flying angel that says whenever a land ETBs under your control, you may return target non-land permanent card from the graveyard to your hand. If that land is a plains, you may return that non-land permanent to the field instead. There's Felidar Guardian, that when ETBs exile another target permanent you control, then return that card to the field under its owner's control. And Flicker Wisp, that also ETBs exiling another target permanent, this time returning it at the beginning of the next end step. We have Rescuer Chewinga, that when ETBs, you may return another permanent you control to its owner's hand, and another flashy creature in Restoration Angel, the ETBs exiling target non-angel creature you control, then returning it to the field under your control. These bounce or flicker cards are perfect. Get more of our cards leaving and hitting the field again and again for even more double Elesh Norn triggers. There's Appointed Peacekeeper, that when ETBs look at your opponent's hand, then choose any card name. Spells and activated abilities with that chosen card name then cost 2 more to cast. An Elite Spellbinder, that also ETBs looking at target opponent's hand, exiling a non-land card from it, with that opponent having to pay 2 more to play the exiled card. We have Moonblessed Cleric, that when ETBs you may search your library for an enchantment, revealing it and putting it on top of your library. And Rumour Gatherer, this is whenever another creature ETBs under your control, scry 1. If it's the second time this ability is resolved this turn, draw a card instead. On to the final 6 we have Wall of Omens and Spirited Companion, that when both ETB, draw a card, with the wall having Defender. For more ETB creature card draw we also have Roving Harper and Sky Scanner, with the Scanner also being a flyer. Finally there's Inspiring Overseer and Priest of Ancient Lore, that both ETB, gaining a life and drawing a card. Now we're looking at every card we can blink, flicker, steal and cause chaos with. First up is Eerie Interlude, to exile any number of creatures you control. Return those cards to the field under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. And Semester's End to exile any number of creatures and or planeswalkers you control, again returning at the beginning of the next end step. They all reappear with additional +1/+1 or loyalty counters on them. We have Far Traveller to give your Elesh Norn at the beginning of your next end step, exile up to one target creature you control, then return it to the field under its owner's control. An Acrobatic Maneuver to exile target creature you control, returning that card onto the field, also drawing you a card. There's both Cloud Shift and Ephemerate to exile target creature you control, then returning that card to the field under your control, with Ephemerate also having that rebound option. There's Flicker of Fate to do the same, but you can also target an enchantment. And Justicar's Portal to blink another creature you control, with it gaining first strike until end of turn. As we mentioned earlier, the more double blinking ETB triggering we're getting going, we're going to have more chance to move pieces from our enemy's board, draw more cards, or just gain more board value to make it easier to get the win. There's Lae'zel's Acrobatics to exile all non-token creatures you control, then roll a d20. 1 to 9 return those to the field under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step, and 10 to 20 returns them to the field and exiles them again. That with Elesh Norn out would be absolutely huge. And Conjurer's Chest to bounce a creature you control at the beginning of your next end step. For the final two, there's Teleportation Circle that at the beginning of your end step, exile up to one artifact or creature you control, then returning it to the field under your control. An Angel of Condemnation that you can pay to exile another creature, returning it to the field at the beginning of the next end step. It can also Exert to exile another target creature until the angel leaves the field. Before we finish up with those lands, we're looking at the best of the rest in this budget brew. First is a key deck card, Panharmonicon, that says if an artifact or creature ETBing causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. That combined with Elesh Norn will start giving you 4 triggers. And Spine of Ishsar, the ETBs destroying target permanent. If you start getting some blinking combos going, you could be destroying opponents' creatures, artifacts, or even their lands. We have Cast Out and Chains of Custody to ETB exiling a target non-land permanent and opponent controls until those enchantments leave the field. The flashy Cast Out can be cycled, with Chains of Custody giving enchanted creature Ward 2. For more exiling we have Journey to Nowhere to ETB and exile target creature, staying exiled until Journey to Nowhere leaves the field. An Oblivion Ring to do exactly the same, but isn't limited to just targeting creatures. We have Touch the Spirit Realm to again exile a card until it leaves the field, this time targeting an artifact or creature. And we have popular landfall loving white enchantment Felidar Retreat to have the ongoing option to create you a 2/2 cat or put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, giving them vigilance until the end of turn. We have Blessed Sanctuary to prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you and creatures you control. Whenever a non-token creature ETBs under your control, create a 2/2 white unicorn token. And Defenders of Humanity, the ETBs creating you X 2/2 Astartes warrior tokens with vigilance. This enchantment can also be exiled to create you even more Astartes tokens. There's Cathar's Crusade, this is whenever a creature ETBs under your control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. And the only sorcery in this deck, Austere Command, to allow you to destroy 2 of the following: a target artifact, enchantment, creatures with mana value 3 or less, or 4 or greater. For some more removal we have Path to Exile to exile target creature, its controller may search their library for a basic land, putting it onto the field tapped. And Swords to Plowshares to exile target creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. There's Dawn Charm to either prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn, regenerate target creature, or counter target spell that targets you. And your Temple is under attack to give creatures you control indestructible until end of turn, or give you and target opponent 2 cards to draw. For the final 2 we have Loran's Escape to give target artifact or creature indestructible until end of turn, scrying 1, and Fateful Absence to destroy target creature or planeswalker, its controller investigates. So before we wrap up this $80 Elesh Norn deck tech, we're looking at all of those lands, and we're keeping it as simple as possible as this is a budget brew and we've nearly hit that budget and we just have 36 planes in this deck. Now of course if you are looking to upgrade in the future, then there are an abundance of various different planes loving cards that you can use, of which we will list some of them now. Elesh Norn is a fantastic new commander. I've seen a few gameplay videos where this looks like it will be a really powerful and popular commander to use in EDH. I can't wait to get my hands on one myself. There we have it, that is the Elesh Norn $80 budget brew. Thanks for watching and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe down below for all things MTG. Check out our link tree in the description below for all of our social media and affiliate links. For now though, I'm all tapped out, so I'll see you in the next video.